Okay, welcome back once again. In last class, we were discussing about phototropic movements. We already discussed about what phototropic movements are. Okay, isn't it? It is because of the presence of a particular type of uh, growth hormone called as auxin, which is present inside the plant. Understand? And the plants tends to grow towards the sunlight because the auction is in the opposite side. Okay, this is Mithun Raj signing in from this part of the world, your science teacher. Welcome to the world of science, my dear kids. I hope all are fine in your home, isn't it? Anyway, the government is changing their declaration regarding opening the school. I don't know what they are doing. They're telling today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, maybe within 10 years, they will try to open the school. Who knows? Anyway, what all things are there, you must study it. Okay, that's your duty. Anyway, these things they won't change anything because in future, after this corona time and all, you must know all these things. Okay, for higher studies, application will come from this same part. So we don't want to miss anything. That's why I am taking the entire syllabus. That syllabus which they already cut from this book. That also I am taking. I hope they won't change that from the JEE and NEET exams. Okay, they didn't reduce the syllabus of those exams. Only textbook they have been reduced. Anyway, getting more information is a very good thing. Okay. Anyway, the Kannada government also will declare or release the new syllabus regarding 10th standard and 9th standard. Wait for that anyway. And hope everything will be fine till November 1, not till after November 1. Okay, the government has planning to start 9th and 10th PUC first year and second year after November 1st till October 15 anyway. They didn't allow it. Okay, anyway, schools are running. Rural areas is no problem. Again, leave it. That's not our problem. Our problem is what? Not our problem. Our part, our subject is biology, and we are studying control and coordination. Already completed. Control and coordination by the central nervous system and peripheral nervous system in human beings. Now we moved into the part of plants. Control and coordination in plants. Mostly two types of movement are there. Movements which related to growth, movement which does not relate to growth. Okay, does not relate to growth means that touch me not plants stimulations. Okay, the plant cells, what they are doing, they will absorb or throw out water. So sudden change is occurring inside their cells. But in the case of movements, growth movements, these are the thing. Auxin is the main growth hormone. Lots of other hormones are there, like berlin, Thelin and all. Anyway, I will give the details about those hormones also. Don't worry about that. So we already finished the phototropic movement. Next one is tropic movement. Tropic movement is nothing. Only one more question. Plant in response to the gravity. Any doubt regarding this? Root positively geotropic. Shoot negatively geotropic. Any doubt? Okay, no, use your common sense. There is no need of any doubt in this part. You already know where is the root under the ground, where is the shoot above the ground. Okay, that means regarding gravity, how is the growth of the plant or the movement of the plant? Shoot will go upside means it is opposite to the direction of gravity, and root will go directly underground means same direction of gravity. So geotropic movements means root has positive geotropic movements, shoot has negative geotropic movement. That's it. I don't think you need more explanation, isn't it? Only this one more question. The growth in a plant part in response to gravity is called geotropic movement. Tell me, shoot system is positively or negatively geotropic? Negatively. Root system positively or negatively? Positively. Finished. Next, hydrotropism. Another important thing. Nothing. Hydro means water, isn't it? Hydrosphere. 8th standard you studied what is hydrosphere. The ocean bodies and all. Water bodies, every water bodies including ocean, sea, river, lake and all. It is called as hydrosphere. Okay, hydro means something related to water. So the growth of root in the soil towards the nearest source of water is called hydrotropism. Hydrotropism is only involved in roots. Okay, it is not dependent upon the shoot. Okay, it's a common thing. root, wherever more water is there, the root will move towards that water source. Okay, this is an experiment. I will explain that afterwards. But if you see plants which are living near a river, understand? We are living near a river. We can see that a lots of roots comes towards that river, isn't it? You see, this is a river. This is a long river, and this is a tree. It's not a tree, but imagine it is a tree. So automatically the root will grow in the direction of water. Understand? Wherever water source is there, that root will grow in that direction. This is a simple example for that. Take some soil in a big jar, and what is this? Pea seedling, any seed, any small seedling, take it. Okay, seedling means this small thing. Understand? Small seedling. Some small tendrils will come out of these seeds, that is called as seedlings, and plant that seedling inside that soil. This is a pot. A clay pot is enough. Clay pot is a porous pot. Porous pot means the pot which can absorb the water. Understand? Have you seen mud pots in your home? They are porous. That's why water molecules are absorbed outside the pot. That's why that coolness comes inside. Understand? Because of the evaporation process of that pot. Okay, porous means it will allow the water slowly to go out. Understand? So there will be presence of water molecules in this soil. So this root will grow in the direction of that water. Okay. First we want to plant a seedling inside a soil, and you want to put a porous pot filled with water just 5 or 10 centimeters away from that. And after 2 weeks, just check. Take out the seedlings and check. By checking, we can see that the root is growing in the direction of the water. Okay, that is called as hydrotropism. Understand? The definition is the growth of roots in the soil towards the nearest source of water is called as hydrotropism. So we studied now phototropism, growing in the direction of light. Geotropism, growing to the direction or away from the direction of gravity. Roots, positive geotropism. Shoot, negative geotropism. In the case of phototropism, roots, negative phototropism. Shoot, positive phototropism. In the case of hydrotropism, only roots are involved. Okay, this is positive hydrotropism. That means the root will move towards the water source. Understand? Shoots does not have anything to do in hydrotropism. Experiment to demonstrate. Okay, another experiment, simple experiment. Take 2 beakers of water. Understand? This is a filter paper. And some germinating seed means small seed which already started to germinate. Understand? Roots and shoot started to come out of that small seed. What do you want to do? Keep that seeds in a filter paper and see like this. Connect the filter paper to 2 beakers, one with water, one without water. Automatically what will happen? Within 3 or 4 days we can see the roots which is growing out of the seeds will grow in this direction. Understand? The direction of water. So that is the simple experiment to show hydrotropism. Leave it. Last one is chemotropism. Chemotropism means that means the growth of movement of plant or plant part in response to chemical stimulus is called chemotropism. That is only mentioned in the textbook definition. Just you study that. This is a very complicated process. Only the definition you want to study. Okay, don't want to study the entire thing. For 10th standard, it is not there. See, the growth of movement of a plant or plant part in response to chemical stimulus is called chemotropism. Chemically stimulations are there inside the plant, isn't it? Understand? For example, see, in the case of controlled direction growth, our arms and fingers grow in certain directions and no haphazardly. Haphazardly means, see, the picture is there. Okay, see. What is the difference between growth in plants and animals? This is not a good type of growth. See, it's a good type of growth, but just imagine, our human body is also like this. Whenever light comes, we will bend. Our growth is bending towards that light. Just imagine how weird we will look, isn't it? We will look very weirdly. Understand? So, but in case of humans, our growth is symmetric growth. See, we have 5 fingers in our left hand, we have 5 fingers in our right hand, and almost all the fingers are almost same. Not same, 5 fingers are different, but the size of the fingers in the left hand and the size of the fingers in the right hand, both of them are equal, isn't it? 99.99% have the same symmetry, but some person they want because of some hormonal issues or growth hormonal issues. Leave it. That's not our part. See, the legs also, the fingers also is fine or not, almost like a mirror image. This is the opposite of this one, isn't it? So this is because of hormones in our body. Understand? Hormones, not because of neurons. Our arms and fingers grow in certain directions and not haphazardly because of hormones present in our body. So, what are the limitations of electrical impulses? Why I am telling this? This is an introduction towards the animal. Understand? See, chemical coordination in animals, a small introduction towards that. Electrical impulses will reach only those cells that are connected by nervous tissues. These electrical impulses are very fast. You already studied that. But there is a limitation for them. That is, these electrical impulses will only pass us through neuron. Understand? And neuron is not connecting the entire tissues in our body. Wherever nerve cells are there, nerve cells are there, or nervous system is there, then there only we can find out the neuron. Understand? Each and every cells in our body is not connected by neuron. So, if neuron is or electrical signals are used by our body for growth, what will happen? Some part of our body won't grow correctly. Understand? And some will grow more. If this thumb has more neurons and this growth hormones are sending electrical signals, what will happen? This thumb will grow longer, like a 5 inch or 6 inch, and other fingers won't grow. If something like that happens, what will happen? It is a very bad situation, isn't it? Okay, that's why what our hormones are also there inside our body. Understand? Cells cannot continually create and transmit electrical impulses. Okay, the cells in our body, only nerve cells can, neurons can, other cells cannot transmit electrical pulses. But they can carry chemicals through them. Understand? And that chemicals are called as hormones. Cells cannot continually create and transmit electrical impulse. Once an electrical impulse is generated in a cell and transmitted, the cell will take some time to reset its mechanisms before it can generate and transmit a new impulse. Another problem for the cell. Nerve cells continuously transmit electrical signals, but in the case of cell, it also transmits a small amount of electrical signals, but not as effective as the neuron. Chemical communication between the cells. Stimulated cells release a chemical compound. This compound would diffuse all around the original cell. Understand? If it is a chemical, human body, human cells, lots of water is present inside the cell, isn't it? So through diffusion, it is easily these types of information can be transformed or not transformed, transported from one part to another. Okay, transmitted from one part to another. Understand? Stimulated cells release a chemical compound. This compound would diffuse all around the original cell. If other cells around are able to detect this compound using special molecules on their surfaces, then they would be able to recognize information and transmit it. Understand? See, other cells around are able to detect this compound using special molecules on their surface, and they would be able to recognize the information and transmit it. That means chemical transmission is happening in balance. And chemical transmission messages can be sent to each and every cells in our body. That's why our body is growing in symmetry. Understand? If electrical pulses are being sent by the growth hormones, what will happen? The area where the nerve cells are present, that area will grow. And the area where the nerve cells are not there, that means it won't grow. Just imagine one finger comes out of this part. One finger coming out of our eye, coming out of our ear, coming out of our back. Back means backbone, okay, not that back. So, In that situation, it will be very, very difficult for us to live, isn't it? Just imagine two fingers from our eyes. Oh my God. It is not happening because these types of information are being sent by means of chemicals called as hormones. Understand? So these are the plant hormone. Advantages of chemical communication. You studied in the first video. I already told that this chemical transmission is very slow. Electrical transmission is very fast. Then what is the need of chemical transmission? Everything is fast means that's the best thing we want to do. But there are some limitations for the nervous system. Understand? That's why advantages of chemical communication. See, chemical communication can reach all cells of the body regardless of nervous connection. Wherever want, we want to send message to what you say, your head, your hair, your eye, your fingers. It's just like walking and going by what? Car. Understand? Just like walking and going by car. We can walk wherever we want, but car, it does not goes to every part. It must need a road. Understand? And that road is nervous system inside our body. Wherever the road is, car will go there to send the message. But in some rural areas, there won't be enough road, so the car won't go there. But the postman, he will walk and send all the messages. Same like these hormone or chemicals. Understand? So chemical reach everywhere in our human body. Chemical communication can reach all cells of the body regardless of nervous connections. It is steady and persistent. Steady means it is 100% accurate. Understand? 100% accurate. Electrical impulses are not 100% accurate. Any proof? I will tell the proof. If electrical signals are 100% accurate, we won't miss our aim. Understand? We won't miss our aim. For example, in the game of cricket, okay, you are playing cricket. If our electrical signals are 100% accurate, every time we can hit a six. Because 100% means correctly we will see the ball and we know how to hit it for a six. But it is not 100%. That's why batsmen are getting out. If electrical signals are 100% accurate, every bowler in our Indian team will take wicket all the ball. That means 10 balls, innings finished, 10 batsmen out. That's it. So these electrical signals, they are not steady. Okay, but chemical signals are steady and persistent. Understand? We won't miss our aim if we have 100% accuracy in electrical signals. Simplest thing, take a stone, first fix a aim. For example, a mango. Have you thrown stones at a mango tree? Of course, I know you will. But how many times it will take for you to throw the stone so that one mango is coming down? Because our aim is not 100% perfect. Okay, there is only chance. Sometimes it will hit the mango, sometimes it won't. Why? Because electrical signals are not that much perfect. Understand? That persistence is not there. But chemical signals are persistence. That's why growth hormones is being sent by this chemically. That's why our body is growing in symmetry. Understood? Okay. They act by diffusion to the area of action. Diffusion, you know. For example, diffusion means moving from higher concentration area to area of lower concentration. Understand? That is called as diffusion. For example, smell from your kitchen. If your mother is making mutton curry in kitchen, that smell will come. Even if you are outside your home, then also that smell of that masala and mutton will come, isn't it? Because of diffusion. Understand? So these are the advantages of chemical communication. Let's see. Plant hormones are chemical compound which help the coordinate growth. This must be introduction for this part, but it is last here. In textbook also it is like this: plant hormones, chemical compound which help in coordination of growth, development and response to the environment. This is the definition for plant hormone. Auxins, gibberellins, cytokinins, abscisses. These are the main hormones in our body. See, These functions of plant hormones also you want to study. Auxins help in growth of shoot. Gibberellin helps in the growth of stem. Cytokinins promote cell division. Abscisic acid inhibits growth. Inhibits means stops growth. It also helps in wilting of leaves. Wilting means shedding of leaves. In winter season, lots of trees are there which sheds their leaves. Okay, that is because of this abscisic acid, and it also stops the germination of a seed. Okay, better than this one, I will give that chart which I made for you. Not I made, I downloaded from the internet. Okay, so that's the end of plant hormones and all, my dear kids. I hope this was a very simple part. Okay, just the notes which I am giving, just read it, you will understand that. Okay, within 2 classes we will finish this chapter and we will go for the test also. Okay, that's it, my dear kids. Bye bye, stay at home. Okay, health is wealth, so maintain your health very well. Okay, bye bye and Jai Hind.